6 o'clock and the April 14th, 2026 Kingsport City Schools Board of Education regular monthly business meeting is now called to order. Dr. True, I believe you have some special guests with us.
I do, Dr. Fletcher. Thank you so much. I want to welcome everyone online and everyone that is here with us tonight to our board meeting. We do always enjoy an opportunity to honor our students, which we're going to do here in a little bit, and also an opportunity to meet some great new younger students tonight who are going to help us with the pledge. I'm going to ask Darrius and Paris Harris to come up, as well as Holden Baars to come on up. They are students at Jackson Elementary, and I'm going to get down here. What grade are you, Paris, what grade are you in?
First grade.
First grade, and you are also
First grade.
First grade.
Twins.
Twins. I thought you might know each other. So, so Paris, who is your teacher at Jackson?
Miss Judge.
And who is your teacher?
Miss Moore, but he's not here, so is Miss Aisha.
Okay. Very nice. So you guys are not in the same class at school?
Yes.
You are in the same class at school? No. Okay. Very good. We keeping this straight? So, do you guys like being in the same class, same grade together?
Well, I wish we was.
You wish you were in the same class? Good. Holden, come on over here as well. You want to jump in the conversation. You are a fifth grader, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have a special few weeks coming up because you are almost ready for middle school. So what's it like when you're now getting ready to finish fifth grade, and what are you looking forward to at middle school the most?
So what I'm looking forward to in middle school the most is probably in band. I'm doing the French horn and also football.
Nice. So you're going to be a busy guy next fall.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you all for taking some time to help us tonight with the pledge. I'm going to ask everyone, if you're in the room, to please stand. And we are going to turn this direction. Holden, if you want to come on up. Okay, ready?
Attention, salute, pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done, guys. Okay, thank you.
Wait, I'll give her a hug.
Thank you all for coming and leading us in the pledge. We appreciate you being here. At this time, I will ask for a motion to accept the agenda, which includes the consent agenda. Once the agenda is accepted, the board mutually agrees not to discuss any item of business or take any action that has not been accepted for this agenda. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Motion passes. Mr. Golden?
Tonight is one of the good nights. It is the nights we get to recognize some of the students that have worked diligently and incredibly hard to achieve something that many students will never achieve in their life, let alone in the brief little period in which they're in high school. We are recognizing the all-state band and orchestra students from Dobyns-Bennett. There are three districts, from my understanding, there's three districts, East, Central, and West, and it is a very limited number of kids that are selected to get into this position. It is something you get to cherish and carry with you for the rest of your life, but it also stands as a testament to the hard work, the countless hours of practice, the parents driving you to practices, the parents rooting for you, cheering you on, and all of the students that came before you are the shoulders in which you stand on to achieve this. Every year we have all state participants, all state recognition. But to have this number, I don't know, Leif's not here, but I would say this is probably one of the largest that we've ever had. So I will call you up in order. If everyone would please hold their applause until the end. We'll come up and accept your award, and then we're going to go out after everyone gives you a big old round. We're going to go outside and then take a picture, if that's okay. And I apologize if I screw anyone's name up. It is not done on purpose. It is the fact that I am old and refuse to wear glasses. Starting in no particular order, Will Bailey, Joseph Michael Bellino, also known as Jomo, Chris Egan, Mark Galvez, Aaron Halliburton, J.P. Morris, Carrington Slagle, Grant Smith, Sam Spotton, Jonathan Watts, E.A. Williamson, Miss Zoe Young, and for orchestra, Abdul Rahman Aliafi. Did I say that correctly? Thank you. Emily Doyle, Charlotte Imsinger, and Nicholas Maynard. These are your 2026 All-State Band and Orchestra students. If you want to adjourn outside, everyone can go and get pictures, and then you can just quietly sneak away. You don't have to pretend that you need to use the bathroom.
This is the time when members of the audience are invited to comment on items listed on the agenda and matters that are germane to the school board's jurisdiction. If an individual wishes to address the board, he or she may sign up on the form provided before the beginning of the board meeting to request time to speak. The board president shall have the authority to terminate the remarks of any individual who violates state law or does not adhere to board rules. Each speaker's remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes, with the public comment period lasting no longer than 30 minutes in total, unless the board waives the limit upon considering a request for an extension made prior to the announcement for public input. All comments become and will be a matter of public record. Comments regarding system personnel or personnel matters that are not pertinent during public input. Speakers may not refer to any student by name without permission from parents or guardians. Speakers are requested to first state your name and limit your remarks to a maximum of 3 minutes. Anybody wishing to speak? I believe we had somebody sign up. Okay. Yes. Ms. Wingo.
Yes. Hi.
Nice to have you.
Hi, I am Jenna Wingo. I am with Public School Strong, as you can see from my shirt. And this is my colleague, Juanita Mitchell. We were hoping to spend a little bit of time just to talk a little bit about the Education Freedom Act for the voucher expansion bill that's currently at the General Assembly. It made its way through the House and is also scheduled on for the Senate in 2 days. And basically, we were just here to introduce ourselves and talk a little bit about that bill. And we've been communicating with other school boards across the Tri-Cities area, and we've been asking whether or not they'd be interested in reaffirming their resolutions against vouchers as a result of this expansion bill. Just to talk a little bit about it, these vouchers funnel over $155 million of taxpayer funds into private school programs. It's currently still unaccountable. It's still kind of shrouded in secrecy, but despite the amendments made. TCAP isn't even required by the public schools in which these vouchers would be used, unlike Kingsport City Schools, where your schools are required for TCAP to show performance standards are improving. So we don't actually know if these vouchers are improving student outcomes. The program's only been in effect for a year. This was the original one that Governor Lee passed of $155 million. Despite bipartisan calls for more information on the voucher program, policymakers have already blocked 2 bills that would have required basic data collection just so that there was accountability. We won't know how many of these vouchers will be going to students already enrolled in public schools, so there's a lack of transparency there as well. It uses public tax dollars, unfortunately, what appears to be to pay for a wealthy family's private school tuition, even though it's framed as parent choice. And Public School Strong relies heavily on EdTrust Tennessee research. Based off of EdTrust Tennessee research and their in-depth analysis, it appears that with this doubling of the voucher bill, which would go from $155 million to $310 million, they have said that it'll go to 35,000 scholarships, again, mostly benefiting students from Tennessee wealthier families. Analysis from EdTrust Tennessee estimates vouchers could divert up to $861.9 million in public taxpayer funds to private savings accounts in the first 5 years alone. Students with disabilities, of course, have to waive their civil rights guaranteed by the IDEA to get vouchers. And so, yeah, as a result, 51% of public school students would receive less per student funding. So I wanted to thank you for this time, and we can also provide more information in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wingo.
And a note that Hawkins County and Washington County have both passed resolutions.
Thank you.
And my name is Teresa Haywood. I'm just here on behalf of KEA to support their effort.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your work that you're doing. Okay. Moving on to business items. Mr. Cinnamon. Hey, Brian.
Good evening. Thank you. Come to share some work that we've done with textbook cycle this year. As you know, that's pretty much an every year cycle these days. Just some information for you. They have recycled textbooks, so some things have been pushed back a couple of years. I'll be sharing more about that in future years about how we plan to deal with some of that. But tonight, I wanted to share with you the result of our textbook team review for a couple of areas, and it's broadly captured, but I just wanted to share with you exactly what areas of content were captured in this. This is called Schedule E for textbook adoption. Generally speaking, that's for advanced manufacturing, CTE, advanced manufacturing, engineering, IT, STEM. Within those, however, lots of categories of content. You'll notice jumping all the way to the recommendations, we don't have a recommendation for some of those content areas because we dual enroll them. For example, welding, advanced welding is not a course that we would need a textbook for because we already dual enroll those efforts. So you'll see some of that content missing from our recommendation, and that's why. The other area that we looked at as a requirement for Schedule E is lifetime wellness and physical education. And so as with any textbook adoption cycle, we don't do that without teachers. Teachers are really driving the process. So we had a representative team. You'll notice comparatively to last year, we had a large science team because it was representing pre-K-12 education. We don't have that because these are more isolated content areas. And so we do have, however, what meets the letter of what's required is the teachers that represent the content required. So they are currently teaching in those categories. So the teachers that were represented for this team of review teach the courses of content for Schedule E. And so again, that's advanced manufacturing, CTE, that's STEM, IT, engineering, and that's also lifetime wellness and physical education. I should also say it's only for the 9-12 grade bands. So if you wondered why we didn't have other representation beyond 9th grade, it's because those are the only 9th. Is my time up, Vivian?
This is something new we're doing.
Okay. So I can jump right to it. We're moving the meetings along, bro. I think Vivian did that on purpose. But you know, I'm for that. I'm for that. Yeah. Yeah, I imagine you would be too. So just an outline of the timeline. We began that process with just identifying teachers that could help us through that. Of course, our teachers are excellent. If you saw the list of teachers represented, they're excellent teachers, and we're more than happy to help. They also had a lot of questions because they wondered, for example, in some cases, why we would need a textbook. And I should say, it's still called textbook, but most often we're talking about curriculum. So that could be digital, could be print, could be both. And so curriculum is probably the best word for us to consider as we think about these. So, and then we moved into, actually we developed our own materials rubric. We've done that in the past for other content because it represents a vision. In this case, we were representing some key areas because the rubrics were not released by TDOE in time for us to begin the process. So we received them after the fact, and I have them. And they're actually very aligned to ours. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but they are aligned. And essentially they are a look at standards, access, engagement, thinking about students with special needs, how would they, what are the intervention components for accessing curriculum? And then overall the usability. So the interface, is that usable? Does the teacher find that user-friendly? So those are the big components of the review rubrics for each of those content areas. And then moving through that, teachers spent time reviewing that, using the rubric, and then submitted to me their review. And it's just a capture of these are the things they thought that those curricular resources were aligned, and these were the areas where they didn't feel as though they were aligned. And I didn't mention this earlier, but Nathan Bailey also supported this effort because he's obviously very connected to the work that happens in CTE, and so he was helping designate some of the efforts at the school level. And then we are just a reminder about the process. This is not at all approval for anything other than the approved. We have reviewed approved resources. Separate from that is the idea that we would purchase. And so your duty as a board is to approve our process. The purchase piece of that is secondary. And so what I have here in recommendation is that we approve but not purchase Cengage, which is one of the curricular resources for the STEM and advanced manufacturing. They had while not fully aligned, we had a lot of concerns about that resource. It was more aligned than the others. So it was the best choice, but we are not recommending purchase. And the same is true for also the 9-12 grade band for lifetime wellness and PE. The one we chose that was most aligned is the Goodhart-Wilcox published material. And again, there was I received a lot of feedback about that. They felt comfortable with the teacher-designed resources, that our wellness team has developed those over the years. They feel very comfortable with those, and they didn't feel as though that these resources were providing any more support than what they are already offering. And then certainly for lifetime wellness, which is really its own class, our teacher reviewed that and again felt the same about that what we have developed was strongly aligned to standards in terms of resources and instructional quality. And so again, these are both approved for review as part of the process, but we are not recommending purchase. Questions?
So this is going to sound a little odd, but why are we still using textbooks when we can write our own curriculum?
Well, as you'll see, in a lot of areas, we aren't using textbooks. In fact, there are very few in grades 9, 12, for example. Most of those are teacher developed. The standards work is done each time there's a curriculum revision. We trust our teachers to do that effort. When we do purchase curriculum, it's typically because we understand the challenges associated with curating and developing content. But that requires a lot of work on the teacher. And so if we can find a resource that is comfortably aligned to either our vision or the standards, then we will. You'll see that in foundational practice, for example, with literacy, where we did choose a resource because the phonemic pieces of that were important to us. You saw that with science last year because that was a gap for us. We did not have strongly curated resources. And so it isn't true of all content, but it's true of some.
I mean, especially with the use of AI to be able to craft giant chunks of this, and then you have an editing team where that committee could sit and roll through that. And then once it's done and it's baked, then you can just do the tweaks each year as you have updates. I understand what you're saying. I would love to see less of that because I feel like a lot of this stuff is, because it's available online, it's available ubiquitously across multiple platforms. I mean, information is, it seems, I'm not saying this to you, but I'm just saying it seems like books like Lifetime Wellness are outdated. Like it's something that we could create and then just update, and it would be aligned specifically to curriculum. And so if there was something that we read in a book, we're like, oh, that sounds close, well, we could just craft our own.
And oftentimes, as the purpose of the review, what really helps us is we have strong teachers, not just me or somebody else looking at that, where they will really quickly identify this says it's stamped Tennessee standards aligned, and it is not, upon just a quick cursory review. And so that part of it is essential because teachers are really weeding out, is this really even aligned to the standards? So it's all about trying to meet the depth of the standard in instruction. So, but I understand your point about AI enhancing curriculum.
Yeah, because I mean, one of these books is how much?
They're significant.
$120.
Cost. Yeah, probably more.
Yeah, I just a quick Google search. Each one of these 120 or more, 150, and you have to purchase how many and how many years do you have out of it.
Right.
So even on this depreciation, this is a bit to the if you're going to drop $300K and yet you could pay someone to come in and craft your curriculum less than that, and then it's good for longer than that.
Yeah. Other questions?
The recommended action is to approve adopting Cengage Tennessee Mind Tap for STEM and advanced manufacturing, and Goodhart Wilcox for lifetime wellness for 9 through 12 grade band. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Dr. Simmons. Oh, sorry. Mr. Fry. So sorry. Hey, Mr. Fry.
thought I did that. So the first item we got for you this evening is the consideration to purchase band uniforms, more specifically 400 jackets and 75 bib pants at a total cost of $93,850. We are purchasing these from Fred J. Miller. We're using the Buy Board Cooperative Purchasing Agreement for this. We've identified some funds in our current operating budget that we can utilize to fund this purchase. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, but other than that, I'd recommend that the board approve this.
How long do we use these uniforms for?
If I'm not mistaken, I think the last time we made a major purchase like this was probably about 10 years ago.
That's what I was going to say. It's about 10 years. It's about 10 years.
Those things have been so many alterations.
The poor uniform person, yeah, and the alterations, and then they let them out, and then they take them out. Yeah.
And the reason that we're only buying 75 pair of pants is that the
They can
band
reuse the
boosters,
bibs.
band boosters have been purchasing some as time goes along.
I see.
So,
Okay.
But the jackets are for the whole
I understand.
band.
Okay. Any questions? Discussion? Okay. The recommended action is to utilize the Buy Board Cooperative Purchasing Agreement to purchase band uniforms for Dobyns-Bennett High School from Fred J. Miller Incorporated for a total purchase price of $93,850. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Motion passes.
Next item I have for you is the consideration for the purchase of customized benchmark assessment program. We issued a RFP for this customized benchmark assessment program back in February, and the proposals were opened on March the 4th. There were 4 proposals submitted. A committee comprised of teachers and administrative staff performed a formal evaluation based upon the criteria that was included in the RFP, and the committee finds that the vendor best meets the specifications for the service desired and is in the best interest and advantage to the city is Instructure and their Mastery Connect product. Mastery Connect is an assessment platform from Instructure that is utilized in grades 2 through 11 that allows teachers to create formative assessments and also deliver benchmark assessments to students. The platform has a series of item banks that are linked to the Tennessee academic standards. Teachers can access Mastery Connect in the classroom to develop their own formative assessments to measure the mastery of academic standards and to monitor academic growth and achievements of students. Instructure develops district-paced benchmarks that provide valuable information and aids teachers in planning instruction and next steps to a myriad of different reporting functionalities. Moreover, the company provides reports that provide predictive alignment to the TCAP achievement and end-of-course assessments. Within the platform, teachers are able to share assessments and work together through the district's professional learning communities process. The administration recommends the board approve the award of the agreement for the customized benchmark assessment program for Kingsport City Schools to Instructure for a not to exceed amount of $98,209. And these funds, we've been paying around this amount for the past few years, so this is not right now. I have plugged into next year's budget $110,000, so thank you, Michael. That gives me $10,000 I can use on something else. But the funds will be budgeted in next year's budget, and this purchase will happen July 1st.
So it sounds like it's a powerful tool for teachers to be able to really address every child's unique learning pathway. And I just want to reiterate that to our listening audience and for those who are in the room also. Our teachers do not take a one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter approach to learning. They're excellent at what they do, and they look at every single child. They collaborate together. They look at every single child and find gaps in every single student, and then they work toward a pathway that's tailored for that student. So I'm in favor of anything that we can do to help them with that. If they're willing to really look at every single individual student, then we want to make sure that they have the tools that will help that process along. And for me, if Michael Hubbard says, if he gives it the stamp of approval, then I'm good with it.
I just wanted to piggyback on that. When I dove a little deeper into this, it does look like that the teachers are able to really customize this benchmark assessment, which I think plays right into what Melissa's saying. I like the fact that they can tailor this benchmark assessment to the learning needs of their classroom, and then kind of pull from the standards what they feel like would be most beneficial to cover, to see where are the gaps, what are they learning. So I liked that part of the component for this particular product.
And I'll add, this is a platform that we're familiar with and have been using. And I think you can look back at the last several years and to see that with using this as a tool, we have made progress over time, particularly with the benchmark assessments, which are legislatively required. I mean, that we are required as part of the learning loss legislation coming out of the pandemic. So we're required to give these. And this was the product that teachers were familiar with and they felt comfortable staying with. We gave them the opportunity to assess other programs to see if there were programs that would provide, better products, better questions, better question banks, more efficient practices and processes, and they elected to stick with this product.
Have we found that the benchmark assessments, and this may be a Michael Hubbard question, have we found that they through the year are consistently reliable with indicating how end of course scores are going to be?
As he's making his way, I will start to answer. He's hurrying because he knows I'm talking. We will occasionally have an outlier, but generally speaking, they are highly predictive of what we end up seeing on our TCAPs. And often the third benchmark, which is, we just finished that in March, that is such a valuable tool to teachers because it allows them to focus in a laser-like way heading into the end of the year. And what we'll often see is that our results will exceed that which the assessment predicted because they really know where to specialize their attention, focus their attention. Okay. You tell the real story.
The predictability, we've done work within house to check the predictability, to align that and make sure, but also we have also reached out to outside sources. So like we've had actually a higher ed institution that actually took our data. Of course, we gave them blind data, no student names, and they did a full thorough study and came back with a highly predictive nature of it, and then also done it through another entity. So we haven't only just done that within house, but also had two separate ones that have come back and looked at the predictability and ranked it at an extremely high level.
Any other discussion, questions? Okay. The recommended action is to award an agreement for a customized benchmark assessment program for Kingsport City Schools to Instructure, not to exceed the amount of $98,209. Is there a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
It's not listed here.
It was 6 digits difference.
6?
Yes. Upper 6.
Pearson's the one that runs the test.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The UK-based company.
If it had been close, it would have been hard not to go in that direction, but we could have bought 8 years worth of this for what it was going to cost.
Yeah, but if Pearson were doing, how is that not a conflict?
Well,
yeah, for the viewing public and those who don't know, the third grade test is, I'm going to increase my blood pressure if I start talking about this.
Yeah.
Motion passes. Last one, Mr. Fry.
Okay, third item is the consideration for the award of the bid for the Robinson Middle School fire alarm replacement project. We issued invitation to bid on March 14th and opened bids on April the 8th. We've been working with Holden Engineering to design this project. We received 2 bids, and Peyton Milhorn of Holden Engineering reviewed the bids and recommended moving forward with a contract with Building Systems Technology, BST, in the base amount of $173,726.32. I'll have to say that myself and Dr. True, and I can't remember whether Mr. Sewell was in the room or not, but we all had pretty big smiles on our faces when we opened these bids, because we didn't know we have $400,000 in this project, and we had some indication that the bids initially could be over $500,000. So, because based upon the proposal from the engineering firm, their proposal was 5% of the project costs, not to exceed $37,500. So if you divide $37,500 by 5%, that's $750,000. So we'd recommend that so the total project cost, we've got at $192,836.64, with an engineering fee of $8,686.32 as opposed to the $37,500. The construction cost and a 6% contingency of $10,424. So we recommend entering into an agreement with Building Systems Technology for the replacement of the Robinson Middle School fire alarm system at a contract of the project with BST for $173,726.32 and establishing a 6% contingency fee of $10,424.
They think they can, will this be able to be installed over the summer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've talked with them, and actually the bid, I think, had a start date within 14 days from approval, and if I'm not mistaken, Dr. True, July the 8th?
Second week of July.
Yeah, yes.
And part of this is the requirement, because code has changed, right? Like this is outdated.
It's outdated and it's functioning, but
right.
This will be if I'm not mistaken, a voice.
How many years has this old system been in? Like 30 years?
It was probably done when we did the renovations back in the mid-90s.
Oh, see, the mid-90s seems like it was like 10 years ago to
I
me.
know, me too.
No more discussion. The recommended action is to enter into a contract with Building Systems Technology for a base bid in the amount of $173,726.32. The total cost of the project will be $192,836.64, including a Holden engineering fee of $8,686.32, with a 6% contingency fee of $10,424. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Motion
you.
passes. Thank you, Mr. Fry.
Just a few few quick notes, just really to recognize the excellence that's going on in our school system. There are always opportunities in these meetings to do that. And so there's three groups and one individual that I'd like to acknowledge. First is Mr. Russell Bennett. He is a veteran art teacher at Dobyns-Bennett and was recently recognized by the Tennessee Arts Academy as 2026 Art Teacher Hero, which is a state-level recognition. That's based on commitment and service to the field of teaching art. And kudos to Mr. Bennett. You may have seen some social media love that we have shared for him. And the Arts Academy has as well. He'll be honored at a banquet over the summer as well for this recognition. The Dobyns-Bennett Winter Guard, they just are back from another successful World Championship competition. You'll remember a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, they won the World Championship in the Open Guard division. And after that, they stepped up into a more competitive guard class. And this year they finished 6th, which is the highest they finished in the competitive class. And they earned the highest score that they've ever earned in the competitive class. So kudos to Mr. Garvey and his team and the hard work that they put in throughout the winter, and it certainly pays off. We'll celebrate and wish well the Dobyns-Bennett robotics team as they head to the World Championships as well. It's a delight to not talk about local regional. You have to compete in those local regional opportunities, but when you're able to compete on the world stage, it's a differentiator for futures. And so those students will be traveling to Houston later in this month to compete, and for the 3rd year in a row, they are going as the #1 team from the state of Tennessee. So congratulations to the Cyber Tribe. And lastly, and this is, I'm so excited about this recognition, and we're going to try to make an opportunity, though it's a large group, for the board to be able to recognize, because it is absolutely life-changing. We have 29 students from Dobyns-Bennett and DBXL who have earned a significant accomplishment. 12 of these students have earned their career certificates from Northeast State in the areas of either welding, HVAC, entrepreneurship, or EMT. So they've completed the entire program and will leave high school certified to go into entry-level positions in those fields. Life-changing, cycle-breaking, differentiating opportunities for those 12 kids, young adults, those 12 young adults. And then we have 17 who are graduating through our middle college program. This is the first graduating class of the Kingsport City Schools middle college program, who will be graduating from Northeast State with their associate's degree. And so before they ever have an opportunity to put on their caps and gowns for a high school graduation, they will have walked across the stage for an associate degree. And again, what a remarkable head start in life it gives those students. They've had exposure to post-secondary. They've navigated college campuses. They've learned how to work with college professors. They're learning how to juggle their time, manage their time, and degrees before they finish high school. So what a remarkable achievement for those students, and we look forward to continuing to celebrate them both in their courting, their graduation, and hopefully we can work out for them to be recognized in a board meeting in May, our business meeting in May. So those are the 4 recognitions I have, and I'll turn it back over to you.
I just wanted to thank Public School Strong for coming again tonight. I know you've been extremely patient in being able to address the board, and so I'd just like to take a minute to just personally express my vehement opposition to the voucher expansion program. It's exactly what it is. It's a voucher. And, I'd just like to thank Rebecca Alexander of Washington County, Gary Hicks of Rogersville, David Hawk of Greenville, and Renee Jones of Unicoi County for listening to our educators, listening to the education experts, and casting a no vote for that, even though it passed. If I could vote for them, I certainly would. So we don't have that opportunity where we live. So I just wanted to say thank you, and the fight goes on.
And we have been very vocal about this as a board, an entire board, and then our board has a legislative liaison that fights a good fight, or at least tries. And we had information out on social media platforms, websites, et cetera, for people to try to get involved. And I know representatives and senators have been contacted, and they're not unaware. I'm personally on a weekly call, and I represent our board. It's not just me. This is for all of our board. And every week, and if you ever talk to anybody else who's on that call, there's several people, probably 30 people. And I know there are times I monopolize the call. One, I'm very passionate about what this represents and what public schools do for our community and the life-changing opportunities they provide. I believe strongly in that, and I don't hold back. I try to be respectful. But I can promise you, there is not a representative from this area who does not know the negative impact that these vouchers are going to have on public education. There is still zero transparency. There is still zero accountability. There is still zero as far as a level playing field. The assessments are not the same. They're not required. Enrollment criteria are not the same. Behavioral standards are not the same. Even teaching standards are not the same. Licensure of teachers is not the same. Reporting, additional legislation. I want the session to end because I want the bleeding to stop. You know, every assessment we give, we have to turn in to the state, every single one. That is not the same. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm so sorry. But every single assessment we give has to be submitted to the state of Tennessee. None of that happens in the private sector. And I will be clear, I am all for parent choice. My parents chose to send me to a school outside of the district in which I was zoned, but they raked and scraped the money, and they paid tuition for me to go to a different school that they felt better met our needs. They did not ask other taxpayers to do that. And so I fully support parent choice. I just don't believe we should have taxpayer monies paying for it. And I'm confident that there are East Tennessee taxpayers who would be shocked at where some of these vouchers are going. And all religious schools are not Christian schools. And so I think they would be very shocked. And I have seen this with my own eyes on social media. No one's trying to hide it, and you would be shocked. And so the only thing we can do to voice our concerns is with our vote, and that's all I'll say on that. I'm getting all fired up, and my heart's racing, so I'm just going to stop. I'm going to go ahead and stop, but we just want you to know we're not ignoring you. You know, in public comment like that, we're not allowed to respond, but I'm holding my little Jesus here. It's not helping. So I'm going to quit talking. But we appreciate what you do, and we appreciate you standing strong for public schools, and we'll continue to advocate, even if the message is not being heard. Every single board member sitting around this table feels just as strongly as I do. I can promise you that. And I'm grateful to work with this team and for the love and passion they have for public education and for kids and for changing our community through our kids. So,
I couldn't have said it better. I apologize, my back is to you, but my heart is with you. I echo the exact same things you have said. I will say also, elections begin tomorrow, early voting. There are 4 members on this board that are up for election in various ways. April 15th, please either go to the Sullivan County Election Commission office in Blountville from 9 to 4 for this week. After that, it will expand to the Civic Auditorium. Sorry, not until the 23rd will it expand to the Civic Auditorium and then Slater Center up in Bristol. So for all of those here who want to early vote, you have to go down to Blountville or wait until the 23rd to vote down here at the Civic Auditorium. But please get out and vote. I am shocked as to the level of participation. Even the commissioner of the elections office, Mr. Brewer, said they expect roughly 10% to show up, which is it's disappointing. Let's just say that's a disappointing, considering you have the mayor of Sullivan County up for election and many of the county commissioners up, and many of these county commissioners are in favor of vouchers. I would encourage everyone to Google the commissioners that sit in your district. Google every single one of them, ask them, email them, look online, look on pages or in the newspaper, look for where they stand on these issues. We also have some of our local elected officials that represent us in Nashville who have voted in favor of these. One is outgoing, is going to be replaced and is running unopposed. I would encourage you to reach out to that candidate as well and voice your opposition to vouchers. Please take not only yourself but other people out to vote. It is critically important. Thank you.
And just to add to Todd's point about the voting data, traditionally early voting has started, when it starts, is at the Civic Auditorium as well. Well, this first week of the 2-week early voting period, you can't vote at the Civic Auditorium because turnout has been so poor. They can't justify staffing the second location because turnout has been so minuscule. So the first week you can vote in Blounteville, the second week you can vote at both locations. So just to add to that. Anything else? No? Just to mention our next few dates of meetings. I mean, we could talk a lot about the data about vouchers. There's a lot more to say. A lot more that the public just either doesn't know or doesn't want to know. Anyway, sorry. April 28th will be our April work session, regular business meeting in May on the 12th, and on June the 9th. There will not be a work session in May or June, followed by a July 14th regular monthly business meeting. Is that all? All right, we're adjourned. Roll Tribe.